Well, hysteria surrounding Trump's election has been evident on the other side of the Atlantic too, with calls for his assassination even appearing on German TV, while magazine Der Spiegel has been accused of going too far with its cover depicting Trump beheading the Statue of Liberty. Here's Kate Partridge.
It's just over 2 weeks since Donald Trump was sworn in as President of the United States, and some global media reaction has turned even more extreme, even sinister. German magazine Der Spiegel's front cover showed a cartoon of Trump decapitating the Statue of Liberty, along with his big slogan, America First. Reaction was polarized.
Thank you, Germany. We helped you defeat Hitler. Help us defeat Trump.
Who would have guessed Germans to end up helping U.S. citizens against our domestic Nazis?
As a German, I feel deeply embarrassed by the new cover of Der Spiegel.
I'm so disgusted with all these magazines trying to make us believe that Trump is the worst thing ever happened.
A German opposition party went as far as offering their own version of the cover, suggesting the German newspaper should focus instead on what's happening in their own country. Der Spiegel's editor-in-chief says he's surprised by the furore over the Trump cover and says it was done in defense of democracy and press freedom. But he's also called for Europe to unite against this brute and choleric man. He goes further. He says the President of the United States is a pathological liar, a racist. He is attempting a coup from the top. And the editor of German newspaper Die Zeit gave his view on how to resolve the Trump issue.
Gibt es noch einen Ausweg aus der Trump-Katastrophe?
Mord im Weißen Haus zum Beispiel.
A talking point that had already been raised by the American media.
What if an incoming president and his immediate successors were wiped out on day one?
Who would be in charge if an attack hit the incoming president? It won't be a Trump cabinet secretary. It will be an Obama appointee.
But it's only been a fortnight since the inauguration. Perhaps we should heed one German lawmaker's advice. I urge everyone to calm down and to handle this with reason.
Well, political satirist and comedian Tim Young give us his thoughts on the call to assassinate Trump by the editor of the German magazine.
That's pretty disgusting, but it goes along with this narrative of violence against the President of the United States and violence against the results of the last election that has been pushed from the left here in America and around the world. So right now, the concept, I believe, and what's being pushed is that Trump is Hitler, Trump is a Nazi, and the only way to stop him is through actual physical resistance and a physical fight and violence in the streets. And they're trying to justify it by going along with this. So the editor saying that murder in the White House is the only way to take care of him is absolutely disgusting, and it goes along with that same disgusting line of thought. There is no appropriate manner or reason to draw a direct comparison between ISIS, who's actually killing, torturing, and Donald Trump, who is trying to better the place. You know, to me, when you take a look at this cover art and the way kind of the liberal media and the left media has portrayed Donald Trump this entire time, this is part of their fantasy, that he's this big evil person, when he's literally just a conservative president who is flipping the policies of Barack Obama. And this just plays into that entire fantasy line and dream that they have, that he is this big evil dictator they have to defeat.
War is in the air, at least according to recent press headlines indicating that Iran and the US are on the verge of conflict. And the Trump administration's ever hostile rhetoric towards Tehran seems to show the speculation isn't necessarily groundless.
They have total disregard for our country. They're the #1 terrorist state. They're sending money all over the place and weapons.
President Trump has severely criticized the various agreements reached between Iran and the Obama administration, as well as the United Nations, as being weak and ineffective. Instead of being thankful to the United States in these agreements, Iran is now feeling emboldened.
As far as Iran goes, this is the single biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world.
Yeah, so pretty much at odds there, but both sides back in 2015 were filled with optimism when a historic nuclear deal was signed.
Today, the United States, together with our allies and partners, has reached a historic understanding with Iran.
Well, Russia has historically been an ally of Iran and played a defining role in reaching that agreement, which was praised by former US leader Barack Obama. However, with tensions between America and Iran again on the rise, cooperation between all three countries now seems near impossible. Media reports also suggest the Trump administration will look to drive a wedge between Russia and Iran to force Moscow into its camp. Well, indeed, a look at the map here shows few countries remaining indifferent to Iran. China, Syria, Lebanon and Venezuela are seen as partners, while countries like Canada, Israel and Saudi Arabia are expected to back up Washington's stance against Iran. We spoke to a number of political analysts who say Iran plays a key role in international relations, and any escalation involving it would result in serious global repercussions.
Iranian allies in the region, from Iraq to Syria and many others, would target the United States' interests, including 36 bases. And the United States knows that Iran is not Afghanistan, Iran is not Iraq. It enjoys a very strong ballistic missile capability as well as drones, very high-tech products in various areas of military industries that could trouble the United States and could devastate the U.S. interests as well as Israel and other interests that they have in the region.
It doesn't seem realistic to me that that Russia would significantly shift from its alliance with Iran, for example, on Syria. Why would Russia, which has largely achieved its objectives in Syria, the U.S. now largely marginalized, I would expect China to push back very strongly on any U.S. attempt to hit them with unilateral sanctions with respect to Iran, particularly because, it's not like Trump administration is being that nice to China. So why shouldn't China push back?
Just after 1:15 midday this Tuesday afternoon here in Moscow, the news continues in about 90 seconds. Stay with us.